what's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another Should I Buy with Ray Brothers. Today we're talking about Terraforming Mars from Stronghold Games. Let's go take a look at it. We'll be right back here. Terraforming Mars is a game about, well, terraforming Mars. In this game, you will use your cards and your resources to raise the oxygen level, the temperature, and put out all of the oceans on Mars. So on your player board, you have all of your different materials and resources to use. You'll be playing your cards next to you that will affect both your resources and the playing board. On the playing board, you'll place oceans, you'll keep track of oxygen and temperature, and then you will also be playing cities out on the board and greenery out on the board. And both of these will get you points. Another way to get points is through the awards and the milestones. Both of these are going to be worth 5 points each if you're able to get your hands on them. Alright, so if you know anything about board gaming, you've probably heard about this game. It's been pretty popular over the past few years, so let's put it up against our scale and see how it fares. Fun is arguably the most important thing about a board game. And is Terraforming Mars fun? Yes, it is fun. It's hard for a game to be popular and it not be fun. Terraforming Mars is a lot of fun because there's so many cards, and the cards work very well together, and so it's fun that you have all these different combinations that you can work with one another, and you've got your mat that contributes with those a lot, but then you also have the board going on too, and the board works actually pretty well. You think this is more of a board game, it's actually more of a card game, but the board is really important, and there's a lot of points to be had out there, so if you meld those two together, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, and it's a lot of fun. Replayability is interesting on this one. On the one hand, there are a lot, and I mean a lot of cards. Like, I think almost 200, something like that, as far as just the cards that you use for playing. It's definitely in the upper 100s. So there's a lot of cards, so that definitely helps replayability. And the board there's the pros and cons to the board. There's a lot of stuff you can do on the board, and a lot of different stuff you can do, but there's only one board. And so if you don't have the Hellas and Elysium expansion, which is a whole new double-sided board, which if you like this game, I highly recommend getting that board. If you only have the original board, that drops the replayability a bit because you're playing on the same board every single time. Terraforming Mars is actually pretty solid in the design column. The only thing I would say I don't like about it is that there's a lot of stuff you have to do in between rounds. You've got to get all of your income for all 6 of your different sections on your board. You've got to deal out new cards and buy cards. So it's kind of laborious. As a whole, I think it's pretty solid. It's just there is a lot of time in between rounds that gets a little annoying. I would say production value comes in right in the middle on this one. There's a lot of stuff to be had here, and so if it was all really high production value, that would probably jack the price up too much on this game. But you know, I mean, you have little thin player mats. The cards are good enough quality, which is really where that's the brunt of the game, so that's good. And then you have some little cubes and stuff. I mean, it's nothing to be in awe of, but it's definitely not low quality. Theme is pretty strong here, actually. There's one drawback, which is that the theme in the game is strong. So you have all these different cards that all pertain to doing different stuff on Mars, and because you're trying to terraform it, right? So you have all these different corporations and all these different things that you're doing to Mars on all these cards. The drawback is that no one really, at least in my experience, no one really reads those. Off the top of my head, I can only name a few cards. Like, I don't even a lot of times read the titles. I mean, it's there and they did it, and the theme is strong, but it's also, you're not really paying attention to it, so it doesn't really stick out that much. So I still give it high marks, but it's not perfectly strong on theme. And last of all, price. I was shocked to find out that this game is actually $50 right now. This is not a $50 game. Now, I'm sure the price will fluctuate. I know when I got it, it was closer to 40, I think. It might have even been a little less than 40. So for that price, it's good, but for 50, definitely not. There's just not enough here to validate getting a $50 game. There are definitely games out there that cost $50 that are you're really getting your bang for your buck. And here it feels more like, well, it's a popular game, so that's part of the reason why it's more expensive. So I'd say wait for the price to drop, but if it does drop closer to 40, it's definitely worth picking up. And that answers your question, right? Should you buy this or not? As long as the price is right, everything else works well for this game. It has, the score is good enough to pass, and so as long as the price drops down to your 40 area, I say pick this game up.